Anybody else here besides me ever get totally stressed out? By the sound of that collective groan, I guess I'm not alone. And I totally understand, because even as a kid, for reasons I couldn't understand at the time, I was always on high alert, constantly on edge. But when I was 12 years old, my grandmother gifted me with a technique that helped me de-stress in seconds. Would you like to learn it today? I'm so thankful you said yes, otherwise I was going to have to wing it. Hopefully, each of you received a stone. Hold it up so I can see you have it. If you don't have a stone, a set of keys, a pen, bottle of water, any object you can hold in your hand will work just fine for now. To begin the technique, feel yourself sitting in the chair. And with your feet flat on the floor, wiggle your toes a little bit. Now bring to mind something that immediately creates stress. Oh no. Everybody have something in mind? As you roll that stressful thought around in your mind, notice where the stress begins to translate into your body. Perhaps you feel your jaw beginning to clench, or maybe your neck, shoulders, or chest begin to tighten up. If you don't feel it in your body, just notice the size of the stressful thought in your mind. Next, quantify the level of stress you're feeling in this moment. From 0 to 10, 0 being no stress, 10 is excruciating stress. Quantify the level of stress you're feeling in this moment. Everyone have a number? Okay, pick up your stone. And as you're holding your stone in your hand, notice the texture. Is it rough or smooth? What about the edges? Are they sharp or dull? And if you look closely, can you see different colors in the stone? Does the light reflect off of the stone? And smell the stone. Does it have a smell? Very lightly on that metal part of the chair, tap the stone and listen to the sound that it makes. And smell the stone again. Measure the stress level again, 0 out of 10. By a show of hands, how many of you noticed that the stress level changed at least a little bit or was more difficult to find the second time around? Using 20 seconds of focused sensory perception, you just altered your level of stress. Our bodies use stress and hunger and thirst and fatigue as cues to let us know that our tanks are running on empty so we can nourish ourselves and thrive. If in response we use stress to engage our senses as consistently as we eat, drink, and sleep, our bodies quickly establish this grounding pattern and relax. When I was 12, my grandmother used nature, the outdoors, to focus and engage my senses, helping me to quiet my mind and feel calm. Fast forward 24 years later, and I'm sitting on a beach digging my wiggling toes into the sand. The sight and the sound of the crashing waves, the feel of the ocean breeze on my face, the taste and smell of the salt air relaxed me into the moment. The catastrophic events of the day shocked me, and I was trying to reconnect with something, anything, peaceful. You see, it was the afternoon of September 11th, 2001. As I quieted my mind, I heard this message clearly in my heart. We're probably going to war. And you are to create a way to help those coming home feel grounded and peaceful. Now, I had no idea where to start, but I knew that grounding into the senses in nature would play an important role. We did, in fact, go to war. And over the following 8 years, I was privileged to work with many combat veterans and gained incredible insight about the challenges they face coming home. They were all just seeking peace, but instead struggled with constant anxiety. I had the idea that perhaps I could best serve these veterans by teaching sensory awareness through animal interactions. Why animal interactions? If you've ever enjoyed the company of an animal, you understand the calming effect they create. Animals live immersed in their senses, reacting to the most subtle signals in their environment. And animal behaviors mirror our moods, returning signals to help us realign and ground ourselves if we pay attention. Scientific research consistently finds significant benefit with dogs and horses assisting human healing after stressful situations. However, to bring combat veterans completely home, I needed something more powerful. I asked myself the question, what if I could counterbalance and equalize the stressed out warrior dynamic with wild animal interactions? So I went to work. And fast forward several years later, Jason and I are making our way down a sandy road, staying cool under the shade of the live oak tree canopy that covers the 10-acre animal sanctuary. We spent the previous hour face to face, safely through fences, of course, with Asian black leopards, cougars, and a host of other non-releasable wild animals who had been rescued from adverse situations and were given permanent homes at the sanctuary. Jason was remembering what it meant to feel relaxed. Although he had not been active duty for many years, the intense memories of his military service kept Jason feeling on high alert all the time. His fight, flight, or freeze response seemed to be stuck on full throttle, keeping him hyper-reactive to his surroundings. I founded the Catalyst Grounding Experience to counterbalance this stress by focusing the senses in the present moment to calm the fight, flight, or freeze response. As we walked through the sanctuary habitats, Jason marveled at how the animal behaviors mirrored his stressful thoughts, and then how the animals calmed their demeanor as he grounded himself. He worried that his stress might agitate the animals, but I assured him that these interactions were enriching to them as well. We approached the next enclosure, and I enticed Jason to bring up the stressful thought in his mind again. He said, with a huge grin on his face, how difficult it was to find the stress. Only an hour ago, he could immediately hit a stress level of 10, but now he had to work just to bring it up to a 4. We stepped up to the fence, and my most powerful catalyst teacher approached. Relaxing, right? Bolshoi, a 600-pound Siberian tiger, began to pace back and forth just inches away from our position on the other side of the fence, staring us down and sizing us up with each pass. I invited Jason to wiggle his toes and engage all his senses to lower his stress level. And I watched in that moment Jason's face and body begin to relax as he engaged his senses once again. And like clockwork, Bolshoi's pacing began to slow in synchrony with Jason's relaxation, until eventually he just moved off and lay down next to the fence. Jason slowly moved over to Bolshoi's resting place and knelt down beside him. And as he knelt, he extended his arm and laid a flattened palm against the fence. And then the most amazing thing happened. In that exact same moment, Bolshoi extended his leg and gently placed his paw against Jason's palm. In this beautiful moment of complete connection, Jason slowly exhaled and released the remaining stress. Jason slept peacefully that night for the first time in years. And although the memories remain, he reports that learning to use his senses to ground into the present moment while touching a piece of nature, like you're holding today, changed his life completely. We all have stress and fears and worries that limit our potential. So I encourage you to use them as cues to engage your senses. Look at the sky. Feel the grass between your toes. Listen to a bird singing, smell a flower, taste the night air. You may not always be able to look a tiger in the eye, but the world is full of spectacular sensory treasures waiting to soothe your anxieties and give you peace. Thank you.